Chapter 1. Voyage, the Unknown.
Where am I? His voice trembled as he took in the sight of rough-looking men surrounding him, their weathered faces and curious eyes fixated on the stranger in their midst. Some wore bandanas tied around their heads, others had gold earrings catching the sunlight, and all of them bore the unmistakable look of men who lived by their own rules. The reality of the situation began to settle in, each detail only adding to his confusion and fear. "Vice Captain, the brat's eyes have opened!" The sudden shout came from a barrel-chested man with a red striped shirt and arms covered in faded tattoos. The shout startled Lynn, and he could only stare at the sailor who loomed over him, intimidatingly close. How did he know they were sailors? The place he had woken up in was made of wood, creaking with the waves, and the men wore pirate attire like something out of a movie. The smell of gunpowder, rum, and sea salt hung in the air. Where am I?" Lynn repeated, his fingers digging into the rough wooden planks beneath him. "This is the middle of the Grand Line. Where else?" A man with a patch over one eye leaned in closer, his breath hot against Lynn's face. "You're lucky, kid. We found you floating nearby. A little later, and you'd be fish food for sea kings." One of the pirates tried to scare Lynn with his words, but the mention of Grand Line and sea kings, the words echoed in Lynn's mind, triggering fragments of memories. These weren't terms from the real world, they were from anime. From One Piece, specifically. A show his classmates had obsessed over while he'd focused on his studies, catching only glimpses and overhearing excited discussions about pirates, devil fruits, and a world of endless oceans. His breath caught in his throat as impossible realization dawned. This couldn't be happening. People didn't just fall into fictional worlds. There had to be a logical explanation. And yet, the evidence of his senses was overwhelming. Realizing something was very wrong didn't help Lynn understand it. He was just an ordinary middle schooler, not expecting to find himself transported into a world like One Piece. He wasn't even a fan. He only knew bits and pieces from what classmates had shared. The story never stuck with him, so he didn't really understand the world or its rules. In his mind, Lynn was convinced he had been abducted and was about to be sold overseas. It was the only logical explanation for suddenly finding himself in the middle of the ocean. Or maybe he was dreaming? He stared at the people around him rudely, trying to make sense of it all. A rough hand collided with the back of his head, not hard enough to truly hurt, but enough to startle him. "Don't give me that look. We may be pirates, but we don't deal in human trafficking. Mind you, kid." The man who'd struck him had a gruff voice, but eyes that didn't match his tone. They were surprisingly kind, despite his attempted intimidation. Rubbing his head, Lynn felt the sting. It wasn't a dream. The pain was too real, the sensations too vivid. "I see our mysterious castaway has rejoined the land of the living." Backing away, Lynn stumbled and fell, his legs weak beneath him.
Thank you for listening to this story, and don't forget to like and subscribe to not miss the next chapter. You can also visit eternallive.com and read the story there.